Hey there, listeners. A very warm welcome to yet another episode of Soranshi's podcast interviews. We wish you all a very happy new year from Team Soranshi. With the start of the new year, let's begin the very first session of this year and welcome our guest. Today, we have a very experienced and talented personality from the fashion industry, a costume stylist turned fashion designer who has come a long way to finally make outfits that bring out the chic and classiness in her clientele. Hi, Savleen. Very welcome to Soranshi's podcast interviews and a very happy new year as well.
Hi, Happy New Year, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you for joining us. So, Savleen, please make our listeners familiar with yourself.
Okay, so I'm Sableen Lamba. I'm a fashion designer and a stylist. I started off with a fashion designing course from INIFT, and then I did a pattern making course at Milan. And that's a basic background of started and what I did. I have been working as a costume stylist for a couple of years. It's been more than 5-6 years. And after working as a costume stylist, that's when I came to a point where I needed to have something of my own. And that's how my brand Sav Lamba came into the picture.
Okay, so before being an entrepreneur, you were in a job. So, do you want to tell us about that job? You mentioned the costume stylist. What is that thing, costume stylist?
So basically, I would work on advertisements, movies, and most of the shoots. So the job as a costume stylist is way different from what we do now, because obviously, like, there is a brief and you have to get outfits sorted according to that. And my job was basically sourcing things from different brands, or if there's a very different availability, like, you don't have that thing available in the market, so you have to design and make it. So it's a mix of sourcing and it's a mix of designing, both.
Okay.
So that is what.
Yeah. So how this all things, the costume designing and fashion designing, how this, are they somewhat similar also, or they are entirely different things?
So they are not, completely different, but at the same time they're not similar, because
Okay.
in costume designing it's all about the character. So like, if you're doing it for a movie, then the movie can be set in the 70s, and then you have to find clothes or make clothes according to that era and make it look real. But when we are doing fashion designing, it's all about your clients, what they want, their body size, their shape, and how do they want to look, and what occasion are they looking at for. So it is quite different, but at the same time, both of the things do have a little similarity in terms of, like, adapting to the latest fashion trends also. Like, even in costume styling, if it's a character that's based in a now time, you would take the, whatever recent trends are going, you'll take that also into account. And the same thing happens when you're designing for a client, because you want them to be updated and not
Right.
something that's old. So that's how the merge of both of them are there.
Okay. So Sab Lama, how did you come up with this name actually?
So the name is obviously it's based on my name, and it took me like a couple of years, because I was working as designing, as styling, and doing all of it. But when you come to a point where you need stability in your life and you need something of your own, that's when I decided to have a brand. Because even when I was styling, there's a lot where you're speaking to different brands, and you are also designing at times, because certain things are not available, so I'm making those outfits anyway. So I realized that that's something I enjoy more, because creating something is much bigger than just going and sourcing. Like, you get that
Yeah, right.
your own thing.
Okay, so tell us something more about Savlama. Do you have an online store or some ground stores as well? Or what? How do how the client support you?
So right now, it's been almost 1.5 year, 1.5-2 years since my brand is there in the market. But we are at a small scale right now. So I operate from my own house. The clients have complete access to me. Like they can come meet me. There are pieces at my place. They can come see it. They can try it. So there's complete access to that. We do not sell online also because of the fact that my clothes are all customized. There are no those small, medium, large sizes kind of a concept. They're basically like I will make it according to the client's body, because that fit is much better than what those standard sizes are.
Right, they're completely customized.
Yeah, so that's something difficult to sell online because a lot of people don't know how to take measurements, and it gets very tricky compared to somebody who has full access to me, unless they are based in a different country or a city, and then I do a video call with them and then explain them how to take measurements.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, that's how we work.
Okay, so it's what kind of apparels and collections are available in? Is it the Western wear or Indian wear? What different kinds of apparels do you offer to your clients?
So basically, when I started Savlamba, it was a mix of, obviously there's a little bit of Indian, there's a lot of Western, because I personally connect a lot to Western wear, and I feel it's also something, like as times are changing, Indian wear is something where there's a lot of money that goes into it, but you ideally wear it once or twice, unless it's occasion, because it is occasion based, and it's a lot of money that goes into that one thing. But Western is something that you'll wear like a couple of times. I do make Indian clothes, but I have a lot of clients who come to me for weddings and all, and I do that fit. But I still feel like my connection is more towards Western wear. So I'll customize and make whatever you want according to your occasion. But we have more of Western wear, and we do more of, I think, pantsuit sets is what I am very attracted to, because there's power. It's like a power game, I think, for women. We've always seen men wearing it. So the fact that now we see a lot of women wearing it, it looks amazing.
Yeah, great. Right. Yeah, right. Absolutely right. Any more do you want to add into this?
So, as I said that, I focus a lot on pantsuit sets and all, and most of my outfits are very mood based, because I don't want you to just wear an outfit for the, heck of it, or be like, acha fashion mein ye hai, so you have to wear this. There should be a mood that should come across, whether what vibe you're feeling, because what we wear does affect our mood. Be it a poppy color will make you feel really good, make you feel up, or you wear something pastel, which is a very casual vibe, and you want to just go for a brunch and stuff. So I feel I want to give that to the customers, which is more of a feeling than just selling an outfit. Because personally, like, my ideal in designing is Sabyasachi, who's full on Indian. But the fact that people want to get married to wear a Sabyasachi, that feeling is amazing. He's selling you a feeling, not an outfit. That's why people are ready to pay that much for it.
Exactly. So, Savleen, being a woman entrepreneur, how was your journey, and how supportive were your family towards this choice of yours?
So, like from the starting to now, I feel people, now it has changed, but when you are a female and you're doing something, there are a lot of questions about, not even questions, I feel they doubt the fact that every girl is going to become a designer. Like, what's the big deal? There are a million of designers in the market, and girls can only end up doing that. They'll design outfits and all. It's so normal. It's not even like a big deal. But at the same time, you really need a supportive family who's like, okay, fine, if this is what you want to do, we will make sure you do whatever you want. Like, my family, in terms of my parents, are really supportive, because I have so many clients who come home to be okay with the fact that, unknown people are coming home. They are in your room trying, and to be accessible and all of that, because your personal space does get hampered. Right now, I don't have a store. I have just sold certain outfits to a store in Assam right now, but in Bombay I don't have my own store, a place to showcase my stuff. So I feel my parents are super supportive about the fact that like, they want me to grow, and whatever it takes, they are there as my backbone.
Great, absolutely fine, good. So, Savleen, what were the challenges that you faced initially when you thought of stepping into this entrepreneurship?
So I think firstly you have to be very strong in terms of not letting people's opinions matter to you, because whether it's a good design, bad design, people's opinions will come. Your prices, people are going to question it. I have a million of people who they compare things to a very, when it comes to Western wear, it's more trickier because there's always a comparison to the Bangkok stuff which will be available at a lesser price.
Yeah,
And we will compare to like, why is this so expensive? Why is this a fact? To explain them that my fabrics are different. I want to go for high-end fabrics because I don't want you to wear the outfit once. I want it to be there for years when it's in that same condition, without fading, without anything happening to the outfit.
They should remain memorable for them as well.
Like it should be there. Now what's the point putting in money when after 2 washes, like it's just going to go and you're never going to be able to even wear it again because it will fade or it won't be looking that good and all of that. And the other thing that I faced is when I just started, because I was new and I started with pantsuits, and at that point I hadn't seen that many pantsuits because there were no brands that were making that. To a point, like I had certain designs, an exact same design which was copied by a known brand, and I obviously couldn't do anything because they just took the same pattern, the same everything same, just changed the color and they made a celeb wear it also. And it never came into a picture. And it's very bad because when you start off you feel very small. You cannot obviously compare yourself to an existing brand that's been there for a while,
right?
So that I feel, to become that thick skin, like okay, plagiarism exists in every field, and in designing, so it's most known.
Absolutely.
So you have to be okay and you have to be thick-skinned about it and be like it's going to happen. And the fact that even people copy it or do something similar, you have to be okay about it and feel good that okay, something must be good. You must be doing something good that people have been, looking at it and making it. So that.
Right. So, Zabeen, you must have come across many successful people throughout your journey. So, how will you define success in your terms?
So, for me, I feel success is a myth. It's an illusion. There's nothing as success, or there's no full stop to it. And I would never want to be like, oh, now I'm successful. I got this, I got that. I want it to be an ongoing journey, because the minute I full stop the fact that now I'm successful, I've got it, I'll stop working for it. So I never want to stop. Like there should never be a full stop to, okay, now ye ho gaya, so I've achieved this, now I'm successful. No, there's a lot. Success is boundless, it's infinite. So you can keep on going and you never know. You should never have that full stop to, stop like I've got this, I've got that. I feel you have to be greedy for it.
You should keep on working for it.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a satisfaction point, because the minute I'm satisfied, I'll stop working hard for it, because then I'm like, dude, I've wasted, now what?
Great. So what have you thought, like with Sav Lama? What do you want to do next with Sav Lama?
Next, my dream is to come to a point where I have my own store, and it's in Mumbai, in Bandra, where I live around the area, because that is a part of my process that I want to be a little more accessible to people. Right now I am, but it is still very restricted because I'm operating from home. The minute I have that space and a big store, I feel it'll be very good. But again, I want to do that at a span of like after the next 2-3 years, when my brand is so established that people know it. And then the footfall is always better when you're a known brand than just having a small place, having that existence, but people don't know much about your store. Like, because in my own area, I know there are a million of stores, there are a million designers, but the fact that you don't have that name, you don't even have that footfall, because it's just there.
So how do you manage all the clientele and everyone? How do you sell your Sav Lama, or how do you sell your products? So like you don't have any store, and you don't have any online, portal as well. So how does the clients come know about Sav Lama?
So for me, Instagram has been like the best thing on planet Earth, because I've got a lot of clients from Instagram. And because whatever followers I currently have are less, but they are not bought. They are all genuine followers, and that gives me my client. Because a lot of people I have got only through Instagram who have contacted me, and then the process is very simple in terms of like, you know, what are your measurements, and we go about it. We take out span of at least 10 days to get the outfit made. And then if you're in Mumbai, it's very easy because, you know, then I can even have that trial and error in case there's some mistake. But now because of COVID and the fact that I get all clients either from abroad or they are mostly from different cities. So we take that time of 10 days, we make the outfit and we courier it. And fortunately, we've not had any fitting issues and stuff, because I'll take that time to make sure that the measurements are proper and check that when I have also got it stitched, everything is prim and proper.
Yeah,
so there is no back and forth.
That's where skills come into picture, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about skills now. So every field or job that requires a certain skill set. So what is the skill set that is peculiar to fashion designing?
I feel it's creativity, because obviously you have to be super creative in terms of being able to make something new, because, you know, there's a lot of competition. Everybody is making something or the other. It's not like it's rocket science. Fashion is very accessible also, and people nowadays, it's very simple to take a design off Pinterest and go and get it stitched and be like, you know, even I can make it. To be able to do something new, that is very important. And the other thing for a fashion designer who's dealing with clients, and I think you have to be very flexible. You can give them your opinions, but you have to see what the person wants, what will work for their body. You cannot just keep pushing your designs across. It has to be what your client wants.
So do you want to add something?
So I feel in that space, then again, it's a lot of accessibility to your clients and communication, because it's like they have to feel important. And my priority always has been that if somebody is buying from me, they have to feel like it's worth the money and they are important. It's not like it's like in anybody, because they have so much access to me. It should be a feeling of, you know, the person is directly talking to me. I have direct access. I can tell the person how I want things. So I feel that is what is also very important, because when we see there are a lot of stores, that accessibility with the designer completely goes away unless some designers, you know, are there who will come and, you know, meet people on appointment basis. Otherwise, that accessibility is zero. Which is that connection also with the client, because then I want recurring clients. Now they love me even for my nature and as well as my outfits, to be able to, you know, it's networking also in a way, which is important as a skill. You can't just be talented and creative and not be an accessible person, because in our industry there are a million options available. So it's
exactly. So how does this fashion designing or this entire procedure this works for you? How do you design your designs, and how do you come up with the idea for the outfit? How does the client, how does everything work?
So see, when we're doing a basic collection, it's obviously what my vibe is and what I'm feeling and what the latest trends are, which I obviously do research a little, because I feel you need to know what's happening around the world and just, you know, randomly doing what you like. Like I definitely go over Pinterest, spend a lot of time over Pinterest, go on a lot of blogs that, you know, give you the new year, the forecast or the Pantone shade of the year. All of those things also come into play when you're making a collection. And when it comes to clientele, it's all based on occasion, or it's based on what they want in terms of, like, you know, like if I'm making a pantsuit also, there can be 10 ways it can be made. Somebody might want it for a casual thing. Somebody wants it to actually go for an office wear. So it's all based on the occasion wise and most importantly, the body of the person. What will work for them.
Exactly. Absolutely. So this is how you said Pinterest. So apart from Pinterest, how do you keep yourself updated with the latest fashion trends? And what is in right now in the industry?
So, as I read a lot of blogs, which are, which will always give you the forecast of what is going to be in fashion the next year
Mhm.
and stuff. And like I said, the Pantone shade of the year. So, I feel like in terms of fashion, what is going to be the next year, the 2021 forecast, which is there are a lot of oversized blazers that are going to be in trend. Then even the Pantone color is very, it's a mix of two colors. Like there's gray, which is a dull dead color, and then there's a
Yeah.
bright yellow, which is an illuminating color. So imagine that when these two colors come together and you make something, is going to be very nice because it's going to be
Right.
so contrasting.
It
So
it sounds really interesting.
yes, I feel that's how, like, you have to keep researching because it's all, but at the same time, with that research, not to forget that your priority is the person who's wearing it and they have to be
Mhm.
comfortable with it. But so, as I said, oversized blazers are going to be total in trend the next year. Then even pastel and sorbet tones, which we all always love in any season or not. People love pastel colors. I think they've been there for like
Right.
3 years and people are still not over it.
Oh wow.
So we're going to see a lot of it even in this 2021.
Okay.
And even neutral styling and neutral colors, like how we have, because gray is the Pantone shade. At the same time, a lot of monotone and tone on tone colors, be it like, with yellow, you can even have like a tan, which will break the brightness of yellow. So all this is a lot in trend this year. So that's how, like, I make sure I read and research because it's very important. You should know what's happening around.
Okay. So, Savleen, how will you differentiate Sav Lamba? As it is a first of all, it's a new brand, and so how will you differentiate Sav Lamba from the well-established competitors in the industry?
For me, it is majorly because I customize stuff, and a lot of brands don't do it. Like now, people have started doing a little, but then it's very difficult. Most of the times when you're selling online, there's no customization. It's that outfit
Mhm.
only, and they're telling you this is the price for it, and you buy this.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Absolutely true.
I never want the fact that firstly my market is Indian market. I don't want the women to fit into a small, medium, large XL because I feel Indian bodies are not made only like that. We have our own curves. We have where sometimes your waist is thin and your hips are more. So it
Right.
never fits in the standard size. It will never work for an
Mhm.
Indian body, which is a little different. So I feel customization is what separates me from other people because I don't want them to fit into a Savlamba. I want my brand to be accessible and they, whatever size they have, I'll make
Mhm.
that for them. Because ready
Amazing.
sizes, even if I'm selling pantsuits never fit well if they are in a ready size because
Yeah, I
everybody
agree.
wears it. So, like, I need that crisp fit will come when there are the exact measurements of that person and it made according to their body.
Great, Sabine. Sabine, let's move on with the show. And next, we are going to have a rapid fire round. Are
Okay.
you ready?
Yes.
I'll say a word, and you'll have to, answer it quickly.
Okay.
So, first thing is fashion,
Personal style.
home,
Heart.
work.
Work is love.
Great. Time,
Very precious.
food.
I'm not a foodie as such. Food is just survival for me. I'm sorry.
Oh, really?
Food is survival.
Great. Book,
Um, book is knowledge. I like to read. Like I need to be knowing what's happening around. So
okay. Movie,
movie. I have to say a word or like a movie I love. Like
yeah.
what do I? So a movie that
Tell
I love
them.
at the all time is Ye Jawani Hai Diwani.
Great. Celebrity,
Deepika Padukone.
oh, great. Makeup,
Makeup would be. I feel it's very subjective, so I wouldn't name a makeup artist or anything, but I would say makeup is, it should look nude, it shouldn't look like you've done much. So minimal.
Okay, makeup should be minimal.
Yeah.
Necessity?
Money is necessity.
Well said. Pets?
Don't have, but would love to have one, like a dog. Definitely a dog.
Okay, great. Your pillar of strength. Like you name
My
a person.
parents. My parents.
Parents. Wow. Your favorite summer outfit?
I think shorts and a crop top.
Oh. One thing that you will never leave at home when you are stepping out.
My phone. And right now sanitizer also.
Sanitizer also, right. One special childhood memory.
I think spending time with my cousins, like I used to go to my, they say Nani's house every vacation. That is my most good memory, because every time I would go, she would feed me and make me fat and come back. So,
She would no longer leave food as a necessity for you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like forceful feeding.
Your first crush?
Was actually a computer teacher. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this.
Wow. I hope he's listening right now. He would come to know that.
We won't remember.
Your favorite outdoor activity?
Outdoor activity, I think. I love to go on walks actually. Walks or runs.
Your favorite vacation spot? Name a place, beach or hill station?
Beach and beach, Goa for all my life.
Wow. A piece of advice for novice fashion designers.
Just stay true to yourself and do what you think is right. People will eventually love whatever you make. So never be bound by what others are telling you.
And your New Year resolution?
I genuinely want to be more seen and there as a fashion designer, and I want Sav Lamba to be all over the place. So I'm working towards that.
All the best with that, Savleen. And thank you so much for joining us. And we really enjoyed having you here. And I really loved being in conversation with you. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. I would say the same. It was really nice.
Okay, bye-bye. Guys, this was Sableen from Sav Lamba. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did and also found it informative and helpful. We would be glad to hear from you, so please share your views in the comment section. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming episodes. Log on to our website www.saranshi.com to read the most amazing stuff on fashion and lifestyle. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Do check the description box for more information. Stay tuned till the next episode of Saranshi Podcast Interviews. See you soon. Bye bye.